Have you ever wondered why both Pele and Diego Maradona have gone their entire careers without winning a single Ballon d'Or? It is the most prestigious individual award in football, given every year to the best player in the world. For many, winning it is often considered the highlight of one's career, and still, only a few have been able to repeat this success. Players like Ronaldinho, Michel Platini, Franz Beckenbauer, and even Pavel Nedved have been able to lift this trophy. So then, why haven't two of the sport's biggest icons, arguably the two greatest players of all time, not won this award? In this video, we'll be taking a look at the deep and controversial history of the Ballon d'Or. Football as we know it today has been around since the 19th century. While it has made gradual improvements since, it hadn't completely hit its stride until the early parts of the 20th century. By 1930, some of the top domestic leagues, like that of England, Spain, and Italy, had already been formed. The rulebook had made some big changes to match the modern game, and we were introduced to the first ever FIFA World Cup. By 1955, the European Cup had made its debut and hosted a spectacular final in Paris, which saw Real Madrid triumph over Stade de Reims, ultimately starting Real's era of dominance. The sport was beginning to take off at this point, but it was still lacking something. There were all sorts of titles for clubs to compete for. National teams had the World Cup to compete in, but there was no way of recognizing who the best player was. This bothered a particular man by the name of Gabriel Hanot. Arguably one of the most influential figures of the game, Hanot's biggest contributions to football came once he retired. He became one of the founding fathers of the French League and the continental tournament that we would come to recognize today as the UEFA Champions League. Hanot believed that the best players deserved to be rewarded, so in 1956, under French publication France Football, he and his fellow journalists came up with the very first Ballon d'Or, an award that would be given to a player who had the best individual performances over the course of the previous year. To determine the winner, each of the top journalists were required to select 3 players that they thought were the best, and then the player with the most points would be declared as the winner. And thus, English legend and Blackpool winger Stanley Matthews became the first person in history to receive the Ballon d'Or. However, the award was not as big as it is today, both literally and metaphorically. The trophy's size paled in comparison to the modern version, and there were only about 5 people in attendance at the ceremony. Now, compare that to the modern day, where the ceremony fills up an entire theater and millions of people across the globe tune in to watch from start to finish. It wasn't until 1995, 39 years later, that France Football made the most pivotal change in the award's history. Remember when I said that Pele and Maradona had never received the award? For both players, it came down to simply just one reason. The Ballon d'Or was only made for European players, specifically European players playing in European clubs. For this reason, the Ballon d'Or was widely considered as the European Player of the Year award. So naturally, 2 South American players, one of which played their entire career outside of Europe, did not even qualify as nominees for the award. Even though they combined for a total of 4 World Cups, they were never even once considered. But the same thing goes for several others who could have possibly lifted the award if it had not been for their backgrounds. Just look at Garrincha, who had led Brazil to winning the 1962 World Cup in Pele's absence, receiving the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot in the process. Or what about Mario Kempes, who repeated Garrincha's success by winning the World Cup with Argentina, as well as the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot in 1978. Kempes also had a stellar season leading up to the tournament, with 39 goals in 46 matches for Spanish club Valencia. How many Ballon d'Ors could they have won? More interestingly, who could they have prevented from winning it? And what about Pele and Maradona? If Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo combined for 11 Ballon d'Ors today, how many do you think those two could have won in their day if they were truly the best players of their respective generations, like people say? That will forever be a question that remains unanswered. But on a separate note, if you are enjoying this video so far, feel free to give it a like and click the subscribe button. It sends a good message as to what you guys think, and we will be coming out with more videos soon. But for now, let's get back to this one. When they did expand the criteria in 1995, opening up to players of all backgrounds, the next winner was Liberian and AC Milan striker George Weah. From 1995 until 2009, there were only 4 years where the final 3 candidates were solely European. In that brief period, the award was handed to Europeans 7 times, South Americans 6 times, and Africans once. This was much more accurate. Probably not perfect, but it was a big step forward nonetheless. And in 2007, the award took another step, granting eligibility for players playing at any club in the world. Between 2010 and 2015, the Ballon d'Or had merged with the FIFA World Player of the Year award, creating what was known as the FIFA Ballon d'Or. And as we all know, this was a unique time in football history. Never before had we seen a rivalry like that of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. And though it was probably just something stirred up by the media, one can't help but to think that it still motivated them to play at levels we had never seen before. There was no bigger example than in 2012. Ronaldo scored 63 goals that calendar year, and though that was extremely impressive, it was completely overshadowed by Messi, who outdid him, scoring 91 goals that year. They were also the only players to take home the award during that period, with 3 each. However, in 2016, the Ballon d'Or had officially separated from its partnership with FIFA and returned to its original format. The Ballon d'Or today is heavily celebrated and deservingly so. There is no other award like it out there. It is a global announcement of who the best player is. It has so much history, but it also has so much controversy. Remember in 2003 when Thierry Henry was at the peak of his abilities? He was the PFA Player of the Year and led Arsenal to second in the league with an FA Cup title. Not to mention that Arsenal was also beginning their resurgence as the Invincibles that year. He even led France to its second Confederations Cup title, where he scored the golden goal in the final and won the golden ball and the golden boot. His stats in that calendar year were impressive, finishing with 42 goals and 26 assists, something that we would not be able to see again until the Messi and Ronaldo era. So automatically, it wouldn't be shocking to say that the footballing world was puzzled to learn that he would not be taking home the Ballon d'Or. Instead, it was given to Pavel Nedved, who, although hitting his own peak, was far less impactful than the Frenchman. Or what about in 2010, when Messi won the award? Many believe that he had no business winning it over Schneider or even Iniesta. Schneider won the treble with Inter that year and even helped an almost average Dutch squad to the World Cup final. He was easily one of the most impressive players at the tournament, even finishing with the silver ball and the bronze boot for his 5 goals. If not him, then Iniesta, who was pivotal for both Barcelona and Spain, could have won the Ballon d'Or. But to give it to Messi, who had a forgettable World Cup and just one La Liga title to show for, it's clear to say that he actually didn't deserve that one. And of course, we have the recent one with Luka Modric in 2018. He had a spectacular World Cup, captaining Croatia to the final. He stood out at the tournament and deservingly won the Golden Ball. But that was it. His form all year long was average for the most part. Going into the World Cup, he wasn't even noticeable on his team that won the Champions League. There were other players who were far more consistent throughout the year and should have probably won it. Ronaldo finished second, but he was the ideal winner. Real Madrid started off the season poorly, but it was when he improved his own form that the team started to turn around too. And he showed glimpses of his quality at the World Cup, especially when he scored that hat-trick against Spain. He even became the face of the sport, almost overshadowing the World Cup itself when he made his big move to Juventus. And although I don't want to make any assumptions, can you imagine if Salah wasn't hurt? He was a key factor in Liverpool's run to the Champions League final, and they even looked like the better side before coming out injured. But can you imagine if Ramos had never injured him? He could have ended his spectacular campaign with a Champions League title, and Egypt could have seen a little more success at the World Cup. Maybe then, the Ballon d'Or would have had a different winner. But then again, that one was just something to fantasize about. So as you can see, the Ballon d'Or is far from your average award. It's deeply rooted in the history of the game, and is easily one of the most prestigious awards in sports. The other football awards just don't even compare. But what do you think? Let us know in the comment section which player you think deserved to win it, regardless of rules.